Demoralized, there were a lot of suffering. You must not forget that even the enemy can suffer. I mean, Germany, the worst thing can happen, you start a war and you lose it. That's about the worst thing can happen, right? So Germany after war, post-war Germany, that was my place, the nation, the country, terrible for children, absolutely terrible. And to get rid of this is not easy. But then in '68 I had enough. I wanted to do something completely different rather than studying machine manufacturing. I had only two choices. That's either engineer or doctor. That was the perspective for post-war children or youngsters. And I did the former, the technical study, and that was not satisfying at all. Then I started later on to pick up photography about in '65. And I had a lot of success, I made a lot of money, but I wasted my money with car racing. And and then in '68 I left Germany for Amsterdam because I actually wanted to go to Prague to study film and theater on the academy. When I reached the border, the German-Czech border, it was occupied because of Russian occupation. I couldn't go further. Then I found an old newspaper, and there was a double spread. I found a newspaper, it wasn't that old, maybe a day or two or three old, about the provost in Amsterdam. And from the beginning, my interpretation about the provost was very positive. And I thought, here, that's maybe a good change to go to Amsterdam, join the provost, because I see the provost as constructive anarchists, not terrorists. That's, of course, a different story. They're militant. And so I came to Amsterdam, and then I was freewheeling and started writing and typing and taking photographs, and joined the riots of a provost for some time. It was about the age when provosts became kabouters already, But still, I met several times with Rolf van Deunen people, and they were great people and had great goals, to riot for a better city climate, car-free, more children farms and more green places, where many cities struggle still today with. That was very noble, I think. And then after some years, I think, I applied for neutralization, and I wanted even to get rid of my German passport. And so it happened, and then I got a letter from the Queen that I'm neutralized and that I can exchange my German passport for a Dutch passport. So I did. So I'm actually a Dutch with a Germanesque kind of a background. But national identity, I really give a shit for. Identity is like a tiny, tiny, fragile sailing boat on a gigantic ocean with an anchor the size of a tanker. Stuck. Most people stuck in their identity without questioning themselves at all. And I have questioned myself. I have even changed my nationality as a demonstrative act that I give a shit for nationality. I don't know, my children don't ask themselves this. I don't think my children ask themselves that. One is my eldest son, who is a children's psychiatrist, lives in Germany. He's 50 now. My second son, Jurian, is 44, gets 44. He lives in Amsterdam. He's a real Amsterdamer. And my dear daughter, Luna Ray, lives in Amsterdam. She is 25. And I don't think they ask themselves these kind of things, I mean, if they observe me, they had the chance to observe me for a long time. They think, okay, one crazy guy in the family is enough, we don't ask ourselves. Identify with my children. And in the meanwhile, I have learned to identify with my grandchildren. But on and off, it is not like I'm not the prototypical Opa. Or I'm not a prototypical husband either, I'm, a person like myself is pretty much thinking different than many people, acting different than many people, and doing different than many people, and that is my liberty, and that is why I'm very, very much content in the way it went, really. The way it went is, I have no... Well, my two sons happen to look very much like me. That's good enough. this morning. Sensitivities. Okay. Damian, cameras, please. Luca, Matias, Yuri, ready?
Ready.
Lucia, lights, please. First one, then the other, short after one another. Good. Thank you. Well, the original photo tour goes back to 1976 in the Appel, Stichting de Appel, Brouwersgracht 196. You see, what's important, I mean, the title is really fantastic and very challenging, photo tour, the death of a photograph, right? What I wanted to do, actually, it was in the transit from being totally concentrated on photography and then going over to performance. So I wanted to make a line between the performative period and the performance, the photo period, and then over to performance. Now what I did, I made 6, 8, 9 black and white enlargements. Each was about 1 meter by 80 centimeters. On the images was a person dressed like me. I took the photographs. The person was not recognizable, really. But first, a very close shot of the person's head. Then the person stepped 10 meters back, and I took another one, and 10 meters back another one, and 10 meters back another one. So the person was actually in the image diminishing, and the landscape started to dominate till you couldn't see the person anymore. Over 3 walls, 3 images high there, 3 images there, and 3 images there. On the 4th side was a balcony, because I wanted to document the process from the balcony myself. So the images were hung above head height, and there was a green-yellow light you use for making enlargements in the darkroom. And the audience would enter, so there was light enough to find an orientation in the space. And when the audience was inside, we closed the door and we switched on the typical gallery lights, you know, strong halogen lights. And then, of course, the images were visible, the people were looking, but because they were not fixed. So within 10, 15 seconds, the images disappeared to black surfaces. To the surprise of the people, because it is an art gallery and, you know, artworks, and and all of a sudden the artworks disappear in front of their eyes. And some people, they were, you know, biting their nails and say, what's here going on, you know? That was the first one. Then the Apple was closed for the summer break, and in September there was a second part of Photo Tour. Now, while the process happened, the disappearance of the images, I took documentary photographs from the balcony. Then I made prints from documentary photographs, I put them in a black portfolio, put them on the reading table, which I put in the middle of the space with the reading light. Portfolio was closed, again, green, yellow light. And the second part, people again came in, the blackened 9 images were still on the wall. Then when the people were in again, they were walking around the table, what to do, what and why. And then somebody switched on the reading light and opened the portfolio. And there they saw, most of them were the same people, they saw themselves in the process, the former process. And while they were paging through the portfolio, the documentary photographs were disappearing also to black surfaces. You see, what I would like to is, I mean, the question is, where are the images, right? I always like to compare to a candlelight. You know, if you have a candlelight, and when you blow out the flame, where's the flame going? And the same is with the images, you know, where the images, are they still behind the black, or are they completely disappeared? Are they saturated by the bronze silver? You know, that's my question, where the images go to. I kept, of course, the 9 images. I never wanted to show them as black sheets of paper, so that it's questionable still photography or not. But much later, I was approached by several people who have been seeing the first phototote event. They say, you should do that one more time, that is so important, historically really important. Then, I think in 2013, I 13 or 12 or 13, I reenacted or reconstructed Phototote here in Moderna Galleria in Ljubljana. It was extremely difficult because analog material has changed very much. They don't use much silver anymore, they use now carbon dust or whatever with little silver. So it was very difficult to make the images disappear quick. It took us 4 days with 4 assistances to eventually get it together. I reduced 1 image, I had now 8 images. And the same thing, there were many people, we were also filming it, and it would be nice if we could show some shots from that documentary, from the Phototote, the last one. And it worked out, and what is very beautiful, if you see the faces of the people looking at it, and all of a sudden the artworks disappear. And that was for me actually back in '76 a statement that the end of photography, and now I step into the scene myself by performing in front of the audience, which is the most direct way of communicating.
Ja.
Die heeft alles wat je nodig hebt voor SX70 fotografie. Dat zijn voorzetlensjes voor de SX70 camera. Dit natuurlijk is de beroemd-beruchte SX70 camera. De mooiste die ze ooit hebben gemaakt. En spiegelreflex. Film gaat hierin, dicht. Achter is een teller op. En hier is focus, die kan heel dichtbij. Even kijken. Je kan dat zo dicht. Je kan dat zo dichtbij. En oneindig natuurlijk. Dat is formidabel, is de mooiste camera die ze ooit hebben gemaakt.